That's better. Much better. Okay. I think they should be able to do that. Okay, right, that's good. Thank you.
You okay? I'm ready.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. How about that outside event? Thank you very much. At Spring Hill Central High ROTC, we can't thank Commander Cruz. There's a gunnery sergeant, there's a master chief. They all work hard, and we're going to give them a little presentation today as we are the Marine Corps League 708, which we can't thank enough. They do so much for us. So before we start, let's give a big hand for the ROTC and the Marine Corps League. I said outside that I was privileged to be here. I started a year ago, and I just hope we put on a good event every year for you. We can't thank the Veterans Committee enough. The men's club, the ladies club, men's club is going to do the hot dog, the young Marines are going to help serve. So at the end of this, please sit at your table and your hot dogs, chips, and pop will be delivered. I've got my beer under here, so you won't get into that. But, Mike Green, your new clubhouse manager, and his staff for the last 2 days has just been unbelievable what they've done. Last night, it was after 11 o'clock last night because we had the big show last night. So 500 chairs had to be taken down and 30 tables had to be put up. So we can't thank Mike Green enough. And you know, he's your new clubhouse manager and he's doing a hell of a job, guys. Mike Green. And by the way, I neglected to mention the national anthem was sang by Music Care's Pearl Selborn. She's done it every year for us and does a heck of a job. At this time, we're going to present, you know, a couple years ago we built your BCPO color guard and then the ROTC. So at this time, I'd like to say BCPO present colors. and gentlemen, the new United States Space Force. This is really a new Space Force, first time.
I know, yeah, it's like, trying to aim the direction at the same time.
All right, folks.
Mike,
Yeah.
we have the hymn for the space, so how about if we move on?
Yeah.
Teresa Glassmeyer, retired 20-year Air Force, please present the United States Space Force. Again, Teresa and her husband Gary are both retired 20-year Air Force. As she'll tell you in a minute, Space Force is the department of the Air Force, so it was very fitting that Teresa honored us to do that. Thank you, and take your seats. If you would please welcome Ron Ross. Ron's going to do the pledge and the invocation. Ron? I'm sorry, I got ahead of it. ROTC, present colors. Thank you, ROTC. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you welcome Ron Ross for the pledge and the invocation.
seated.
Can't hear you, can't hear you.
Is that better? All right. You all missed my joke at the beginning then, I guess. Okay. Did you know that there are over 16 million living veterans who have served in at least one war? Over 2 million of those veterans are women, and nearly 10 million veterans are over the age of 65. Can you imagine being part of a group of men and women who are ready to defend our country from war? To be willing to leave family, friends, and the comforts of home to keep us safe? It's only fitting we would have a special day to honor them. Veterans Day offers time to remember, encourage, comfort veterans in prayer. No matter your political affiliation or your stance on war, we can all agree that the men and women who serve deserve our thanks. One beautiful way to thank them is to pray for them. They certainly have their struggles, and we cannot know the depths of what they go through on a daily basis. Would you join with me in prayer? Our Heavenly Father, who sees all the hurt, the comfort of the hearts of those who have lost loved ones in the military, it might seem unfair to us, but you are the God who ordains our days. Let us remember those families who are still grieving today. Remind them of your love for them. Their loss provides for us a safe place to live. Keep those families close to your heart today. Comfort them and let them know we do not forget their loved ones sacrificed. Lord, today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve and protect their country. We pray that you will bless them for their unselfish service and the continual struggle to preserve our freedoms, our safety, and our country's heritage for all of us. Loving God, we ask for blessings on all those who have served the country in the armed forces. We're asking for a healing for the veterans who have been wounded in body and soul in conflicts around the globe. We pray especially for the young men and women in the thousands who come home with injured bodies and traumatized spirits. Bring them peace. Oh Lord, may we pray for them when they cannot pray. We ask for an end to wars and the dawning of a new era of peace as a way to honor all veterans of past wars. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Ron Ross. Ron is very active, as we know, in our community and does a lot of favors for a lot of people. At this time, I'd like to offer the Music Heirs, who's a big part of our community, and they're going to sing American Anthem. best to you. What great words. Thank you very much, Musiceers. As mentioned when you saw the new flag, the Space Force, Mike has got a little video for us. And I'm going to ask at this time for Teresa Glassmeyer. Again, come on up, Teresa, retired 20-year Air Force veteran. And after the video, Teresa's going to say a few words about our United States Space Force. Mike?
stars, and they ask, what if? Our job, United States Space Force, is to have an answer. The U.S. Space Force defends our country and freedom to operate in space, keeping it secure, stable, and accessible for military space power and new waves of innovation. Once the new frontier, it now defines our daily lives and ways of war on air, land, and sea. From strategic warning to GPS and satellite communications, we defend the ultimate high ground. There's no such thing as a day without space operations. On December 20th of 2019, under the then President Donald Trump, the United States Space Force Act was signed into law as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. The United States Space Force is the space service branch of the United States Armed Forces and is the world's only independent space force. This act reorganized the Air Force Space Command and other Air Force space elements into the United States Space Force and created the first new independent military service since the Army Air Forces were reorganized in 1947. The Space Force, through the Department of the Air Force, is overseen by the Secretary of the Air Force, who is a civilian-led appointee that reports to the Secretary of Defense. On January 14th of 2020, General John Raymond of the United States Air Force was officially sworn in as the Space Force's Chief of Space Operations, and had previously served 35 years in the Air Force. He presides over the Office of the Chief of Space Operations, transmit plans and recommendations to the Secretary of the Air Force, and acts out as the Secretary's agent in carrying those plans out. The United States Space Force recruits the brightest minds in technology, aerospace, and engineering. And I think we just saw some of them standing right here. Our guardians reach for new heights beyond the atmosphere, and they protect our freedoms, imagine the impossible, and put it into orbit. If we think about the generations coming up behind us and their age and the technology that they're experiencing, they are our future. And on the quote for today, the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what's behind him. My name is Teresa Glassmeyer. I'm along with my husband, Gary. We're both retired Air Force and proud to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. She's gonna choke up. I choke up too easy. Thanks again. You know, I saw about 4 videos that she just spoke about Space Force, and I'll tell you what, the stuff we got up there, and then it did show what China has and what Russia has, and we've got to stay on top because it's a dangerous path up there. Really, if you guys get a chance and you're on a computer, Google it, Space Force, and watch some of the things that they do and they're capable of. It's fantastic. And they got nice uniforms too. Now, the BCPO, our community here, and there's guests here, does a lot, and they work hard, and we have a board that works hard. And Anna, is it Anna or Anna? Anna Webster is our president, and unfortunately, last Saturday, I think it was, she had to leave because her son was in critical condition in North Carolina, and he did pass away, so Anna can't be here with us today. And Ken Duncan, our vice president of the board, I'm going to bring up, and he's doing us a favor by speaking for the board and for Anna. So a prayer for Anna, please. Nice lady, works hard, but Ken Duncan, please.
Good morning and thank you. As a BCPO board president acting, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming. May I make a request, please? Will all our veterans in this room please rise? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason we have this celebration, and we thank you very dearly and very sincerely for your service and what you have done for this country. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Rosemary Vestiri has been our treasurer. I'd like to bring her up. She's treasurer of our board. Works hard. Been here a while. Takes a lot of heat. Great lady. Rosemary. If you want to, that worker.
What I'm going to read today is in dedication to all the women, the wives, the significant others that have supported our Vietnam veterans. It's called The Vietnam Veteran,
his wife, and PTSD. In the middle of the night, it starts with restless legs, shivering, and then the words, "My heart is pounding. I'm shaking all over. I can't breathe." A trip to the ER, an EKG, blood tests, diagnosis, panic attack. I hold him tightly, whisper soothing words until the shaking stops. In the early 90s, he began having anxiety attacks affecting his job. One day, a supervisor snuck up behind him. Steve tried to stab him with a pencil. He was sent to a psychologist before he was let go. Her evaluation, a suppressed childhood trauma. A friend suggested Steve go to a VA clinic for help. He saw a VA-trained psychologist who determined that Steve was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. I've done extensive research on PTSD, viewed several Vietnam-era movies, especially Oliver Stone's Platoon. I've also read several times an excellent nonfiction book by Mary McPherson, Long Time Passing, Vietnam and the Haunted Generation. I wanted to understand PTSD so that I might help my husband through the rough times. I still do. Steve is gradually remembering certain occurrences while he was in country. Being transported to a firebase, not knowing where the hell he was. Waking up staring into the eyes of a beady rat sitting on his chest ready to attack. Coming face to face with a Viet Cong pointing a rifle at him. The rifle jammed. He proceeded to hit Steve on the head with his rifle butt until a Marine dispatched him. Steve carries the bullet on a chain to remind him of how close he came to dying. Frustration rears its ugly head when he can't hear well. He lost over 40% of his hearing when, without warning, a cannon was fired too close to him. And like many other Vietnam veterans, he is still angry at how he was treated when he returned home. We do have our disagreements. Most times we work out our problems. I have issues with one of Steve's flaws. His rantings. The subjects vary. I either go for a drive, go to my craft room, put on some classic music and chill, or, in desperation, threaten to duct tape his mouth shut. I've never actually done it, but it calms him down. Steve has certain quirks. He can't stand loud noises, crowds, or elevators. In restaurants, he will not sit with his back to the door. I accept these as manifestations of his PTSD. Thankfully, there have been no more midnight runs to the ER. He occasionally has dreams that are nonsensical. He also wakes up claiming he's freezing. I bring him a blanket and tuck him in. Will my husband ever sleep through the night? Will he have to rely on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication all his life? As he ages, will these episodes gradually disappear or worsen? God only knows. I will be here for him always, with support, understanding, and love. Steve, would you please stand up? My loving husband.
Steve came up to me this morning, having my Marine logo on my shirt, and he pulled his bullet out. Who helped you out? Who helped you out when you had your wound, your shot? Marine Corps came in and helped him, and that's one of the reasons he's here today. And he helps us here. He's always involved in our club. So again, thank you, Steve. Now, I mentioned the Veterans Committee, and I sure want to thank them. Would all the veterans, before I bring Gil up, would all the Veterans Committee people stand up, please? Oh, unless you're working, you may be working back in the kitchen. This is your BCPO Veterans Committee. We thank them for the decorations and the hard work they do. And at this time, the president of the Veterans Committee, this guy does so much for veterans. I learned a lot a couple months ago. I'm going to let him tell you about what he did in the state of Maine, which is where he's from. We won't hold that against him. But other than eating lobsters, this guy has helped a lot of veterans, and he still helps a lot of veterans here. So the president of the Veterans Committee, Gil Langtot, please come on up and speak to this crowd.
Yeah, we're on. Okay, good. I have the honor to be asked to be on the Veterans Committee because I have a major background with it. I've been through some major counseling for PTSD. I'm going to give you a thank you on a lot of people that would put this together. But one of the major ones I want to is my wife over here. If she would stand, please. My wife is she's a spouse. And her and I went through a readjustment because of PTSD in Maine. And our code is, this ain't fun anymore. No, it's Gil, behave yourself. All right? Thank you, hon. I want to thank Dick Terrio for being the master of ceremonies and put this gig together. Also, I want to thank my Veterans Committee. Rosemary Bestieri, she's from the board. Paul Beauchesne, Steve Bestieri, Greg Gressler, Mike Green, Sally, and Bill Litchfield, Tom Friedman. One thing is with us Veterans Committee, I want you folks to know that we're not just here 4 times a year, which is the Toys for Tots, which is going on now. And the Reese across America and Bushnell was going to be on December 17th. Anybody needs a ride, please call us. We're leaving early. We need to be there early to be there for the Reese. Another thing, if you can't make it for the Reese, we can go to Lowe's, if they still have them, a 12-inch wreath with red bow will do the same because they come from the same company that puts them on down there. So if you want to put one on and you didn't get one from Worcester, you can get one from Lowe's. That's going to be on the 17th. So anybody needs a ride, please call us. My name and number are in the News and Views. Paul's in News and Views. We're all in News and Views. All right. The other thing, we're responsible to make sure that Memorial Day celebrations are taken care of for the right people and also this Veterans Day. So they've done quite well. Music is, and the ladies of Brookridge, and definitely the men's club. The men's club allowed me to be out here this morning because usually I'm out here on the grill cooking back there. So the men's club is doing the job for me. One thing I want to know, people to know, that our committee is here to help out with anything the veterans need. We're a pathway to your benefits, we're a pathway to any of your needs. If you need a ride to the clinic or whatever, or you've got a question, ring the phone. It's never too late to ring my phone. I've had them ring me at midnight because they were having an anxiety attack. So please don't trust us to be there for you because we're all veterans. We're here to serve you 365 days a year. If on Christmas morning you're having a problem because you're alone and all of a sudden you get a problem with your family's gone and you need somebody to be a friend, hey, please call. I need you to call and we'll be there. I always have time for our veterans and anybody who needs our help. That includes the spouse, also the spouse and their children. That young man, one day asked me, he was 15, he said, what made you go into the Army? Well, Vietnam was going on. I had just graduated out of high school, and I didn't want to work in the woods the rest of my life in Maine. It was too damn cold. So I go to Vietnam at 113 degrees. So the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, we all here as a veteran. Now people want to know, what is a veteran? The veteran, as far as I'm concerned, is a person, male or female, who served in the military in all branches of the service of the USA and was released or discharged honorably. So it doesn't matter if you were a combat veteran or you were a peacetime veteran. One thing you gotta remember, for every rifleman out there, you have 8 people in support. That means truck drivers, mechanics, especially medics, especially chopper pilots. All these people are in support of the person firing the rifle up front. We're all make the picture. Colin Powell said it the best. I have a mission. The mission's a picture on the wall. You are all piece of a puzzle. The puzzle comes together, we have the mission. So keep that in mind, that all veterans are here on a mission to do the best they can. And God bless you all. I'm a proud veteran, proud American, and I want you to all be the same. Thank you.
Hold on, Gil, hold on. A little more on Gil. Gil is a 22-year Army veteran, served 22 years. Can you or would you tell the story of your best friend when he was an engineer, and he's got a story to tell. If he can tell it, I'd like to have him tell it.
I had a best. I had a best friend in Vietnam, but he came from, we were in AIT together, and I thought I'd never see him again. We were in Vietnam. I was in what they call Langslinger team. I was a combat engineer. We did places for, gun placements for the 4th Marine. God bless us. We're in the Army, but we're doing the 4th Marine's dirty work. So, the thing is that he was there one day in the support, and he was taking care of me. What we mean by taking care of us, he was sitting on the seat on the side and patrolling, make sure nobody shoot at him. All of a sudden, he fell forward. He ended up falling forward, his helmet went over backwards. I ran over him with the track. They asked me to pick up the tread. I picked up the tread. They hauled him out. He looked like a ragweed. He was a great friend. I was at his sister's wedding. And then after 30 years, blaming myself for shooting him, for killing him, then he turned around and Joe DeGrasse said, Gil, that didn't happen. You look at it, the inertia of that bulldozer going forward, the helmet should have never went backwards. So we went what they call etch and stone, which it tells the story of every veteran that's on the wall, how they get killed. You put their name, their rank, their serial number, and you can find out exactly what happened to them. Wherever. To find out he was killed by hostile fire. He just shot him back in the head. That took him 30 years for me to start healing. Accepting is more the word. Not healing, but accepting the fact that that happened on my watch. So folks, we all have our crosses to bear, but there's always somebody out there that's willing to help you. I had a great friend of mine that's in the military. He lost his son over there in Iraq. But he became my best friend because he worries about me, and he was in Vietnam same time I was. So we help each other out. So folks, all veterans, trust your veteran friends. That's the biggest thing we need to have is trust. I know sometimes it's hard to trust certain people, but if they're as a veteran, part of the Veterans Committee, please trust the Veterans Committee because we pick the ones we know that you can trust. So please use us. Don't abuse us, but use us. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. A couple months ago, I have a little tiny disability. And I was talking to Gil and he said, did you ever go to the Veterans Office and ask if you can improve your disability? In other words, I get $152 a month, I want you to know that. But maybe I can get $158, Gil said. So if there's veterans in here that need to look at their claim, Gil is here to help. So again, he does a lot. What were you in Maine? What are you here? There's a title to you.
VSO, Veterans Service House.
So again, I can't brag about Gil enough. But I do want to say one thing. As a Marine, and every Marine in here, we sure thank you for digging our ditches. Now, we're going to bring up a lady that's very dedicated to her organization. Believe me, she is dedicated and very knowledgeable. I want to bring up first, thank you, Mike, video on the DAR. Thank you over there for the lights.
Women working together for America, sharing a bond that has lasted for generations. These are the daughters of the American Revolution, dedicated to their love of God, home, and country.
I'm very proud to be a member of the DAR because it encompasses all that I believe in.
More than 2 centuries after their patriot ancestors founded this nation, today's DAR is still preserving the ideals that made America great by serving communities across the country.
You get this wonderful feeling at the end of the day that I have accomplished something. I have made a difference. And the people's lives that you touched are infinitely more enriched because DAR has walked into their lives.
The DAR's commitment to America begins with its newest citizens. Today's daughters attend naturalization ceremonies like this one in Houston, Texas. It's a moment the Ramirez family has dreamed about, watching their daughter Cindy become an American.
The first time they say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States as citizens of the United States. It is a moving experience. It reminds us of how fortunate we are to have lived in this country for so many generations.
The DAR has supported immigrants since the days of Ellis Island, providing them with a citizenship manual and a warm welcome.
We want them to understand that we're glad that they're citizens and we recognize the commitment that they've made.
They made us feel that we're no different, that we belong, and that's very important for us.
Today is a very blessed day for me. I've been waiting for this day. To see their appreciation and to see their joy, I'm grateful to be able to share the day with them.
The DAR has been proudly serving the public since 1890, when it was founded as an organization for women who are direct descendants of Revolutionary War patriots. Today's DAR is one of the largest service groups with 168,000 members and 3,000 chapters in the United States and abroad. Each year, daughters meet for Continental Congress at their Washington, D.C. headquarters. But the DAR is more than its pageantry, history, and beautiful buildings. Its members make it unique.
The DAR member of today is definitely not a fence sitter. She's very well educated. She's a professional. She is the retiree. She is the stay-at-home mom. People think that DAR is for old ladies. My slogan is, it's not your great-grandmother's DAR. I'm today's DAR. I'm today's DAR. I'm today's DAR. We have women of all color, of all religions, of all politics.
The diversity in DAR really attracted me to the organization because it's a really great group of women who are very dynamic and have a wide range of skills and experiences, and I really learned a lot from them.
Some of the most remarkable women that you will ever hope to meet are here in DAR. They're just fabulous to work with.
The DAR is growing and it's changing, and I want to be a part of that change.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
I'm today's DAR.
Today's daughters are a diverse group with a common goal. Their mission is to promote patriotism, education, and historic preservation.
It is the spirit of DAR, the spirit of patriotism, the spirit of service, wanting to do something for someone else.
We can make an impact in this country, and I think that the more people can hear about DAR and the more people can know what we do, the more impact we can actually make.
Thanks, Mike. Now, to speak about the Daughters of the American Revolution, Peggy Christie.
Good morning. I bring you greetings from the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Winding Waters chapter, right here in Hernando County. Each year, the over 168,000 DAR members contribute over 5 million hours of community service. My personal project is to collect stamps for the wounded. These stamps come from the letters that you get in the mail. You can drop them off at the administration office, or you can bring them right here to the clubhouse and put them in a container on the cart at the back of the room on the bottom shelf. These stamps are sent to Walter Reed Hospital. Walter Reed Hospital has a special hand-eye therapy program. The veterans use the stamps to make things like pictures, puzzles, collages. When you have hand-eye coordination, you don't give it a thought. But if you had to learn it, it could be a long and tedious process. Last year, when I took over this program in July, by Christmas, I had enough stamps to send to Walter Reed Hospital in one of those large, flat rate boxes that you get at the post office. The weight was 6 pounds, 2 ounces. So far this year, I have sent 3 boxes to Walter Reed Hospital. I want to thank you all who participate and donate your stamps. I want to thank you all who are going to donate your stamps. And at this moment, I would like to introduce a Brookridge resident who will bring you greetings from the National Society Sons of the American Revolution, Tom Pelham.
Thank you, Peggy. Sons of the American Revolution, we have a chapter here. It's called the Philaguchi chapter. Most of the members seem to be hanging out up there in Citrus County, but we're building quite a membership down here in Hernando at the time. And like the DAR, we're involved in the community. We have a program in the elementary schools with essay contests, poster contests, the like. We also recognize the ROTCs in the high schools, the different groups that we have down here in Hernando, and mostly up in Citrus County at this time. But we do we do the Veterans Parade, which was canceled this year because of the storm yesterday, and so forth. We're quite active in the community. You just might not see us a lot. And I guess one of the neat things about the SAR is that you get to wear a cute little hat. And obviously, we're looking for members, so, and I do live here in the community up here on Country Club Drive, and my name is in the telephone directory. So if you know somebody, I'm the registrar for the Withlacoochee chapter, so I bring in all the new members and fill out all the paperwork and get it up to Louisville, Kentucky, where our national chapter is. So, and thank you very much.
Let him hear your name. Let him hear your name again.
Oh, my name is Tom Hellam, and I live here on Country Club Drive, 8222 Country Club Drive. So if you can't find my phone number in the directory, come knock on my door, and I'll give you any information you need to join, be a member of the Sons of the American Revolution.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Peggy, do you have some literature, Peggy, you're going to put out in the back? Did you bring literature with you? In the back, Mike put a table off to the left if anybody wants a brochure or some information. Peggy will put it over on the table on the left side. And I want to thank both of them. She left me a small brochure. And by the way, in the program, I said stamps for the veterans and stamps for the wounded. And who picks it? Right now, I'd like to bring on a video that I think you're all going to enjoy. This is a song by Elizabeth Sims, and then I'm going to bring on some very important guests. So Mike, if I could have the video, please. Thank you for the lights.
And you never see my face, yet you serve and protect me. My home and my place, I walk by day. In the open air, I sleep soundly at night.
That's what it's all about. We've got some special guests, and I'm gonna have them come up. I was gonna have them all come up and stand in, but I'm gonna have them come up one at a time and say a few words. First one I can bring up, this gentleman has 5 Purple Hearts. We talked about it this morning. We asked him how he got it, so I'm gonna let him tell you. Terry Dunn. Terry, you wanna come up? Tell these fine folks a story. Speak up. It's on.
Okay. If I wasn't expecting this, 5 Purple Hearts. When I was 18, I was a trooper with the Marine Corps in Vietnam. And we tried hand grenade, boom, week in the hospital, back to duty. 6 months later, rifle grenade, got overrun by the North Vietnamese Army, and but they didn't make it. And then 10 months into Vietnam, I got shot. Got sent home, and went back to Vietnam. My brother was there, and got my 4th Purple Heart, booby trap explosion. Man in back of me hit it, and then 5th Purple Heart. I was caught in an ambush, and my flashback saved me a bullet in the back here, and that was it. So you don't think about them at the time.
What year did you get?
I was in for 4 years. I was in from 17 until 21 years old.
5 Purple Hearts, 4 years.
Pleasure of serving with the Marine Corps.
Thank you so much. Thank you for leave that one hot. Imagine that, 5 Purple Hearts in 4 years. Ouch. Next person I'd like to bring up is going to speak a little bit later, but I want everybody here probably knows Brad Bennett, radio talk show host, has his own radio program. He spoke here before, but he's also a recipient of 2 Purple Hearts. So Brad, come on up and just say a few words, and I'm going to bring you back a little bit later. But Brad Bennett, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. When I think of 5 Purple Hearts, when I first heard that happening, I thought, how in the world can that be? I got 2, and I thought that was too many. I will tell you this. I've got a number of grandchildren, and when they've had me come to school, come to their elementary school to talk, and they want to know about being wounded. And I always try to downplay it. I always try to make it no big deal. And my first grandchild, my granddaughter Laura, when she was first born, I always told her, she said, "Grandpa, how did you get wounded?" And I said, "Well, I was just too slow. I just couldn't move. I couldn't run fast enough. I couldn't outrun the bullet." And so lo and behold, we're at her 6th grade presentation one day on Veterans Day. And she introduces me and tells her class that this is my grandpa. He fought in the Marine Corps, and he has 2 Purple Hearts. And the kid sitting next to her in the front row said, "Laura, your grandfather is a hero." And just that fast, she turned and said, "No, he's just slow." And that's really kind of what it was. I'll tell you a lot more later on, but thank you for being here.
Thank you, Brad. I know we have other Purple Hearts, but I want to bring this gentleman up because he also is a recipient of 2 Purple Hearts, Frank Glassford. Frank?
I also was not expecting to speak, but I received my 2 Purple Hearts in Vietnam in 1967. The first one was a minor wound to my left arm during Operation Swift that didn't require an evacuation. The second one I received was when my unit was sent to Quaintree Apartments to chase out the North Vietnamese so they could put an airfield in. And North Vietnamese didn't appreciate that too much, and they hit us one night with a bunch of rockets. The first one that came in got me in the leg, which cost me about 5 weeks in the hospital on the USS Repos before they sent me back. So I always tell people I didn't learn to duck fast enough. But actually, the second one, I was laying flat on the ground. So I don't know how much further I could have gotten, but it's fate, you know. Shrapnel wounds, something like that happens, you're either lucky or not. Thank you.
A lot of veterans here. Purple Hearts, stand up. Somebody here with a Purple Heart? You sure want to recognize that person if they're here. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Brad. Last year, I think it was Memorial Day, we had a gentleman do a heck of a job. This is Jim Bravaco, the Commandant of the Marine Corps League 708 here on Sunshine Grove. But I do want to mention this. I was asked by Gil and I think Veterans Committee, you know, the American Legion, the VFW, all of those organizations do a hell of a job for veterans. And we sure do not slight any of them. The Marine Corps League has always offered and went well and above and beyond for me and Gil and the Veterans Committee. So we want to recognize the American Legion and recognize the VFW. And Ken, am I missing anybody? DAV, yeah. These organizations do a heck of a job. There's no doubt about it. When Veterans Day comes along or Memorial Day comes along, everybody's busy. You know, sometimes it's hard to even talk to Jim because he's got to organize, you know, guest speakers to help us out, and the Young Marines and the ROTC with Commander Cruz. So we recognize the Legion and the other organizations, but we sure thank the Marine Corps League 708. It's not because I'm a jarhead, it's because they work so hard to help us out. So at this time, I'd like to bring the Commandant of the Marine Corps League, Jim Bravaco.
Thank you. I want to wish you all a happy and safe Veterans Day from 708. I thank the young Marines for showing up, ROTC, members of my staff. A couple of things last year when I spoke with you, I had accomplishments I wanted to make over the upcoming year. Well, I'm going to go over a few with you on some of the things the Marine Corps League does for veterans. I think last year I told you when I took over, I broke it down to 3 areas. Veterans assistance, scholarship programs for the high schools, and affordable events for the community and the kids. Well, I'm going to bring you up to date on what happened here at 708 this past year. We took a large step forward in 2022. We stopped 3 veteran evictions. They were put on the street. We stepped in and we took care of it and got them back in their homes. We had 2 in wheelchairs that were evicted from their apartment. We stepped in, got them transportation, set them up in a hotel, got in touch with their family. From Wisconsin, they came down and picked them up. Then another veteran who went for an armored service job, passed the test. They told him he can't work there unless he supplies all the clothing and boots for the job. We stepped in, we paid for that. We pay bills to help veterans with their electric bill, their cable bill. It's a tough job. That's why I respect every one of you veterans here today. Sometimes the road coming home is a lot harder than the road that you served overseas. It's not easy. This past year, we had a kid come across the trail, 3 years old, a cancer kid, fighting cancer. He's not going to make it. So what I instructed the organization to do is set up and make him an honorary member of the Marine Corps League. We had his family in and his relatives in. We did a call to arms. We brought them down the aisle. We awarded him Honorary Marine of the Year for Detachment 708. We'll help anybody that needs help. Not just the veterans, the people in the community that come in that door across the street. We step up to the plate, we can, we'll help them anywhere we can. The Veterans Assistance Program was part one. I expanded it, it's now into maintenance to help veterans that have some problems with their home and they can't afford it. So we are setting up a program over there where we can help you with that also. The scholarship program over the past 2 years, we've given out $5,000 in scholarships to the community, various high schools. Because of all of this past 2 months back, 3 months back, 708 was awarded Veterans Assistance of the Year Award from the Hernando Sun. The voters in the community, we came in second place to the K-9 Patriots, which is a national organization. But coming in second place for 708 was a proud honor for the organization. We sponsored a senior softball team this past year. Well, they went out and won a championship, and they're telling us because the Marine Corps sponsored them, it was the first year in 10 years that they ever won anything. What do we have going on at 708? Everybody knows we got the Queen of Hearts on Thursday nights, Fish Fry on Friday nights. Show Me the Money on Tuesday nights. But you don't know, every 6 weeks we give out $1,000. Saturday afternoons, I decided we're going to have an inflation fighter for the community, where we offer an adult meal the children eat for free. Wednesday nights, we do the same thing, 6 wings, french fries for $6. We're doing everything we can over there to make it better for the veterans and the children in the community. We're just warming up. We got a lot of new things in the works. You heard about Lexington and Concord, where we worked with the Heritage Society. We worked with the Florida Rangers. Well, that took on a national look throughout the Heritage Societies. This year, we're looking, last week of April, we're going to have another run at this, but this time we're going to do Bunker Hill. And it'll be at the fairgrounds in the last week in April. So we're working on that also. We got the Christmas trail coming up. We're in the process of decorating it now. We got the Christmas party December 10th over there. Everybody points their fingers at Joe, but I'm going to tell you, I can't do this without my staff. My staff, my members, my elected officers in the organization have stepped up to the plate every time I've asked them to. They know where I'm coming from. I know what the veterans need. I've been on the bad side of it. I've been on the good side of it. But we're going to continue to move forward to help the community, help the kids, and help you veterans, which I have all the respect in the world for. If there's anything that 708 can do for you, please let us know. I got a staff over there that can solve any problem. And I'll tell you, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of you veterans out there. You put up your hand for 4 years, some of you longer. You gave it, no questions asked. You came home, and you know what? We got some issues at home, but you know what? We're here for you. I want to thank you very much for having us here tonight.
Jim, before you go, what happened over there for Halloween? You had a trail or something, a lot of people?
Halloween, what I did was, they said it couldn't be done. Well, don't tell me that. They said that this Halloween trail may not work. It could be a waste of money. Well, don't tell me that. Well, this year, we've had over 10,000 visitors come through the Halloween trail. 10,000. They came from Orlando. They came from St. Pete. They came from all over the state of Florida. What we did is we added a ghost town, and I promoted the ghost town. Next year, we're adding Egypt. Now, I'm looking for some mummies. Be careful.
Jim, you know, he tells you a lot about what he does, but if you don't know how it started, when he took over an empty bucket. And that was how long ago? How long ago? 6 years, 7 years? Third year. And he's not even a lieutenant colonel. So this guy's done a heck of a job, and his bucket's full now. And I know Ken Duncan and his wife are a big part. Ken was a big part of the Halloween stuff, I remember. Gil and the Veterans Committee come over, and I think they talked to you a lot about Toys for Tots. So our Veterans Committee worked with the 708 Marine Corps League as well. So again, big hand for Jim. We found those in our parking lot.
Sorry about that.
Again, I mentioned Brad Bennett, our friend, and he came up and spoke a little bit about the Purple Hearts. And I want to bring Brad back up. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Bennett.
Thank you again. This has been kind of a long program. I know a lot of you are getting tired, so I'm not going to rattle on and on, which my wife will be interested to know since I do a 3-hour radio show every day and have been for, 26 years, I think. But I'm not going to make this that long. But I do want to add a couple of things. We are really privileged at 708 to have the kind of commandant that we have right now in Jim Bravico. He didn't happen to mention that, he mentioned a little bit about Toys for Tots. A lot of you know about Toys for Tots. You've got a collection box back there. But I think last year we served children in Hernando County that would not have had a good Christmas. I think we served like 2,600 of them. 2,600 children got at least 3 gifts because of the generosity of people like you that dropped toys in the boxes, came in with checks that buy toys. We got a whole committee of people that worked really hard for that. And I want to re-emphasize the fact that on Friday night, we don't have just a fish fry over there. We've got a brand new cook who is outstanding. My wife and I ate there last Friday night, and we had, what was it? It wasn't a chicken pot pie, it was shepherd's pie. and it was fantastic. And anybody is welcome to come in and eat in our chow hall, our mess hall. So, meatloaf this Friday. So if you like good old comfort food, you'll find it there. One other thing I want to add about my granddaughter that I told you, she said, she used to always tell people that, oh, he's just slow. That's why I ended up with 2 Purple Hearts. I'm pretty proud of that granddaughter right now. I want to let you know that right now she's in her first year at West Point. So she's learned good lessons about the military and what that's all about. Now, I said I would take just a few minutes, and I will do just that, a few minutes, why veterans who have served in combat really need to have Veterans Day. Why Veterans Day is important to them. And for you to know that, you probably need to know a little of my background. First of all, you Army or Navy ROTC young Marines that are back there, would you please stand up? You guys and gals are what, 15, 16 years of age, something like that? Some 17 maybe? Okay, thank you, sit down. The only reason I asked that is because I received my first Purple Heart when I was 18 years of age. I didn't know what to expect when I got to Vietnam. I had no idea. I'd seen John Wayne movies and things like that, and I thought, boy, this is going to be just like John Wayne. We're going to run through a hail of bullets. Nobody's going to get hurt. And we're going to run over the enemy and take the flag and go to the hill. Didn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. And I'll tell you this much. The reason I have to do something on every Veterans Day is because in May of 1967, I had the unfortunate experience, our unit had been out in the field for a number of months doing missions trying to hunt down the North Vietnamese. We weren't able to find them that much, but we came back. They brought us back to a place called Dong Ha, which was up in the northern quadrant of the DMZ area. And I thought we were going to get a couple of months of rest and relaxation there, but about a week into that, they called out 2 companies from our battalion. We had 4 companies in the battalion. They called out the Alpha Company and Delta Company. They said, you guys are going to be taken by trucks from here up to a little place called Can Tien. And I thought, wait a minute, I've heard of that place before. That's not a nice place. That's not a good place to be. Well, it turned out there was a South Vietnamese Ranger battalion of about 600 South Vietnamese Rangers that had held that position for quite a while. And they were getting a little spooked. They were getting a little afraid, and they wanted to get out of there. So they told us, we're going to send you up there by truck convoy, and you're going to set up a perimeter up there. You 2 companies of Marines plus your headquarters units, mortars, couple of mortar platoons, and supply. So about 400 of us went over, took over that hill, took over Can Tien on, I think it was like May 5th. Well, on May 8th, and I didn't know this at the time, the Marine Corps is great with history. The Marine Corps knows everything about its own history, right? We know Iwo Jima, we know Tarawa, we know Saipan, we know all of those kinds of things. But we don't always research the enemy history. Well, if we had, we would have known that on May 8th, 10 years prior to this, the North Vietnamese overran the French at Dien Bien Phu. And they were looking for a way to punch the nose of the South Vietnamese, to let them know, we're coming for you too. We're coming back, we're going to take over the South Vietnam. Well, we didn't know it, but on May 8th, that we were surrounded by 2 regiments of North Vietnamese, about 2,700 hardcore North Vietnamese troops. 400 of us, 2,700 of them. And at about 3 o'clock in the morning, they fired off a flare, blew a whistle. And I thought, what the hell is this? Somebody's blowing a whistle at 3 o'clock in the morning. And looked up, and I could look down onto Delta Company's position that held the front wire area. And all I could see is it looked like an army of ants coming at Delta Company out of the forest, out of the jungle. And they overran Delta Company's positions, got inside the wire for the first time ever in the Vietnam War, used flamethrowers to try to burn us out of holes. The cloud cover that night was so thick that we couldn't get air support in. We couldn't get any support at all. We burned out all our illumination rounds from our own mortars at about 4 o'clock in the morning, but we never left our positions. We stayed there. We fought. Those 400 of us that held that hill, 44 of them died that night. For 44, 19 and 20-year-olds that didn't get to come home. They didn't get to have grandkids go to West Point. That's why I, as a veteran, it's important for me and all the other veterans in this room to remember that we had people that paid with their lives so that we could be here alive today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Brad. Earlier, Ken was very nice to have our veterans stand. I'd like to do that again. This has been a great event, but I would like to have all of our veterans and their spouses and children if any, please stand up so we can say thank you again. Veteran. Thank you, thank you. Now, I thought about this a lot when I was with the program, and this is a special video, and I really, really, really want you to watch this. I think I found this at midnight. We sure don't want to take anything away from Veterans Day, and if it's Memorial Day, because that's a special day. But we have a lot of first responders, police officers, firemen, that are veterans. They're not only on the front line in the military, but when they come home, look at the abuse they're taking. So I want to play this special video. Mike, please.
My family by my side. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American. We're released, I know I'm free. And I won't forget all of those who died, who gave their life for me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend us.
first, I didn't know if that was gonna be appropriate for today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, an important part of our program is our music airs. And Sandy, being the leader, stand up. And I want a big thanks to these music airs, and they're going to do a song that they've rehearsed, We Remember, music airs. Thank you, music airs. You're gonna hear them once more before we leave. What I'd like to do now is BCPO color guard. Please come up by your flags. Leroy? Jack? We built this BCPO color guard and honor guard. Be honest with you, I always get mixed up. I want to thank the BCPO color guard and their spouses, and we've tried to make this an important part. At this time, BCPO color guard, retire colors. Thank you again, BCPO color guard. We're going to leave the Marine Corps flag up here because there's all these Marines here. And my legs are tired. I also want to not forget, before I bring the ROTC, the Men's Club, the Ladies Club, the Veterans Organization, or the Veterans Committee, Print Shack, Pine Brook Pharmacy. There's your hot dogs and donuts. And thank Ken for stepping in as Vice President of our board to help us out. And at this time, ROTC, retire colors. How about a round of applause for the Spring Hill Central High ROTC? Another special thanks. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated after we're done. We have young Marines and others that are going to serve your hot dogs, chips, beer and pop. Oh, mistake, pop and beer to your table. So sit, relax. Take the pause if you have to, but the young Marines, we want to thank them for coming. But at this time, I'd like to have Jim Bravacco, Marine Corps League 708, and Ken Duncan come forward, please. Jim, for all you do, this is not near enough, but this is an award from Brookridge Entertainment, which is a big part of your BCO community, and the BCO from the board of the BCPO and our residents. Jim, just a short and small thank you for all you do. Commander Cruz. Front and center, sir. I have to officer, this gentleman. This is the guy, between Jim and Commander Cruz and his staff, they are so helpful in making these things happen that it surprised me. They are so helpful. On behalf of the Brookridge Entertainment and Brookridge community, with Ken and all of us here, a small token of a thank you with a reward. And for the information, we're donating $250 to each of them, which is a small part, but to help them out. I've got an earpiece in here, you don't know that. And they're telling me when the hot dogs are done, so I'm kind of doing this. I don't have an earpiece. If it was, it'd be a hearing aid. Now, once again, I'd like to bring on the music airs, and then we'll have a following CD. So with the music airs, at this point, God bless America. Please enjoy. One last thank you for all of these fine gentlemen and ladies for supporting us from the Marine Corps League 708. I want to thank Peggy Christie, Gil, the Veterans Committee, Ken Duncan for stepping up, and everybody for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, Mike, if you please stand, Mike's going to play a little video or a little CD for us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please enjoy the hot dogs, all American hot dogs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go visit him, and I met him a couple of weeks ago. We've got a few more events with you guys this year, so we're looking forward to it.